Hello, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here and joining us. My name is Wendy Kobina DeMoss, and I created this festival called the Sacred Sexual Music Festival. And I just felt divinely led, frankly, at the during the Me Too movement, the Harvey Weinstein era. All of it culminated in me believing that, gosh, we need to change this beautiful gift that we have, our sensory being and our bodies, being in our bodies, and this sexuality is getting such a bad rap. We need to shift things and bring information and just open the conversation. So this Sacred Sexual Music Festival serves as an educational, a social, a spiritual gathering, and it's a place for those who seek to listen deeply, to share, to heal, to transform, to laugh, to cry, to play, and remember when our bodies were seen and known as sacred. So I'm so delighted because today I have a couple of guests to bring on, and there'll be speakers. We've had a few interviews already with some of the presenters, and we have Chenoa Bhakti with us today. We'll start with you, Chenoa.
Okay.
Let me just
Alright.
get my notes here. I want to make sure I don't miss a thing. And
Okay.
Chenoa Bhakti is a sacred sex worker. Indeed, she is changing the world one John at a time.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
Chenoa brings such wisdom and such
Mm.
beauty and experience to her work. And she's a does tantra massage, intimacy coaching, tantra coaching. She's got extensive training in yoga therapy, sensual massage, Brima. Maybe you can tell us about that. I'm not sure about that, what that is. Spiritual anatomy, the wheel of consent she studied. I'd say she's a fluid, sensual artist living life by her own terms. Her
Mhm.
passion is healing, says Chenoa. And yet, the
Mhm.
deeper passion is to prevent the need for healing. That is so powerful. I'm going to say that again. This is a quote from Chenoa. My passion is healing, she says. And yet, the deeper passion is to prevent the need for healing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
please welcome. I'd love to just first say hello before we dive into whatever topics we're going to go into.
Okay.
Chenoa Bhakti, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy, for having me. Yes. No, I'm very excited to be here, and I'm super excited about this festival and combining the idea of sacred sexuality with sexual music, or even with music, because as we know, the experience of any sexual experience that we have has like a vibrational and energetic, a musical quality to it. And music always enhances our sensual experience. Um, so I'm really delighted. I was a presenter at the live music festival. Not a presenter. I did a workshop at one of your festivals a few years ago on the Wheel of Consent, and and then I led a table discussing about sacred spot and healing through understanding the energies that flow through our body with through the chakras. So super happy that you're continuing this. To do it online is amazing. Now, I know it's sometimes difficult to do workshops and programs online, but for myself, it's been a really transformational year. Embracing this new format of communicating and sharing online with people around the world, and so I'm excited to be here. Super happy that you're having me, and
Yes.
yeah, I'm ready to answer some questions and talk a little bit about myself and my work and what I might talk about at my talk for the festival. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Well, I love that you're here. And
Mhm.
first, you know what? I have this silly idea. I'm just going to do this idea I saw in somebody displayed to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to open our minds, and this is the way we're going to do it. So everybody that's viewing, if we could do this as well. So pretend we're going to floss our teeth, but instead we're flossing on one ear and floss on the other ear. And you go back and forth. And this cleans out your old way of thinking, your old mind, and opens up to a new way. A new way
Mhm.
of looking at sexuality, a new
Mhm.
way of looking at your life, at your
Mhm.
body.
Mhm.
Really, shame and guilt, bye-bye, bye-bye.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Chenoa, please tell me. I know we were talking. I've known Chenoa for years here in Vancouver,
Mhm.
Canada,
Mhm.
and I remember you mentioning about how people have transformed under your care and your thoughtful work. Would you
Uh,
share some, like, do you have a story or anything you could share about examples of people who have come to you and how they might have transformed? Because you say you have people who've been seeing you for years.
I do. I mean, in terms of transformation, I think, I mean, I actually would like to talk a little bit about me being a sacred sex worker. And I'm going to discuss a little bit that more in detail at the festival, at what that really means. But you mentioned shaming. And when I first started this work, I basically refused to consider myself to be a sex worker because I was working in the realm of Tantra and in healing sexuality, intimacy coaching. And I didn't want to identify with the old stereotype of what a sex worker is. And so I rejected that term for a really long time. But since the very beginning of me doing this work, I always brought in a spiritual element into my sessions, into my massage, into my communications with people. And in terms of transformation, when I first began doing this work, I noticed that a lot of people that were coming to see me, they didn't want to see escorts. There was still a lot of hype and concern about AIDS. We don't hear as much about that anymore, even though it's still part of our social dilemma and our social dynamic. Um, but were coming for erotic massage and what is this tantra thing, wanting to know that they were physically safe, that they weren't going to be engaging in something that would cause them some kind of physical ramifications, either with themselves or with their partners or for their long-term health. And so I really noticed that a lot when I began working. And over the years, I've been doing this now for 21 years. And I would say there's been quite a huge transformation um, in the clientele, even in the new clients that are coming to see me. Um, so I think there's a larger understanding of Tantra and sexual health, and that the clients that come to see me are more self-aware. They're aware of the idea that they need to embrace sexuality in a different way, and they need to explore what's available to them. And they're really looking for some healing, uh, and some new ways, new methods of being engaging with the opposite sex. So so in terms of, I've seen a lot of transformation with people that I've been seeing for 5 or 10 years, and some will see me for 5 years and then I never see them again. And then people I've seen 15 years ago, they start coming again. So the transformation is that they're more, I guess they're more grounded in their own body. They're more aware of their needs, and they're still open to learning and growing. And what was that thing you taught me? I really need to figure, like, that
Mm,
actually made a difference in my life, and I need to really grasp what that was. And they also, that's on the learning side of things, and on the healing side of things. Um, I've had men really open up to me about their own sexual abuse history,
mm,
and how can I help them with their sexual abuse history. Now, I'm not a clinical psychologist, and in times I've had to refer people to that kind of therapy. But I also have a true belief in hands-on. The hands-on touch has so much healing um, capacity, and with a lot, when you work with a lot of compassion, sometimes just being in the flow of accepting spirit and working as a channel for spirit, the healing comes in ways that I may not be consciously trying to do,
Mhm.
but because I'm there opening myself as a channel, and I find great pleasure in being a channel, um, healing in a way almost becomes a side effect
Mm.
of connecting deeply, assisting a client to connect deeply into their own breath and connecting deeply into their own body, into their belly. And some of it has to do with, especially with men, has to do with learning how to make a connection between their sexual center and their emotional and their heart center.
Mm.
Yeah, because there's a lot of visual stimulation for men, uh, when that is already the basis of one of their sexual stimulants.
Right.
So there's a lot of overstimulation of the male population, and so that practice of coming into your breath and into your body and finding acceptance with your own heart and realizing that any sexual experience that you have can be a loving and kind experience, and not simply for, the fast release.
Right.
Yeah, there's a huge dimension, a lot to talk about.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. We could you said so many things. We could go on so many areas, think about so many areas, but the
I
but the
know.
most profound, in my estimation, is when you say connecting the sexual chakra with the heart.
Yes. Our lungs are in our heart center. And so when we open our breath, some of the tantra techniques are for learning how to bring your breath down into your belly center.
Mm.
If you do voice, you do singing, you know that singing from your belly coming down into your lower register is a way to connect your belly to your voice. It's
Yeah.
connecting your belly center to your throat chakra. Connecting your heart center comes through breathing. It comes through relaxation of your full circulatory system, which means you have to have a full relaxation in your full nervous system. So, especially people who have some sort of sexual abuse issues, um, we have to find a way to relax the um, all the nervous system,
Yeah.
the external nervous system, the internal nervous system, and the second, what we call the second brain, which is in
Yeah.
the belly center, the sacral center. Yeah,
Yeah.
so connection, and that comes through for men. It actually comes through prolonging their arousal rather than, oh, I'm really horny, let's get off quickly. Um, Instead of following that stimulant pathway, it's about changing the pathway, the energy pathways in your body, and you do it through finding comfort. And I find sometimes it brings tears to people's eyes.
Mm.
um, I've had men, just fall apart crying on
Mm.
my table because they've never been touched that way, and they don't know how to heal their sexual wounds. um, you know Talk therapy doesn't work for everyone. A lot of people are very kinesthetic. We're actually all very kinesthetic, right?
Yes. You can only
Yeah.
go so far, it seems, with talking therapy.
Yeah, it has the potential to go into your memories and to open
Mhm.
up your memories and discover why. Why
Mm.
am I behaving this way? What is the source of my, and it's like, oh, I know that's how I am. And you have it in your mind, but then how do you change it in your belly? How do you change it in your relationship? And how do you change it in your experience of yourself? And it comes through the somatic healing techniques,
Mhm.
connecting the energetic, the emotional, the nervous pathways to your physical body. right? And
Beautiful.
realizing that your memories are stored in your physical body.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the intent of this festival. You just said it so beautifully, is to really
Hmm.
bring the sexuality that we feel, that we all know what we're talking about. Some of us feel it with shame and guilt, and some of us feel like fear, and I can't talk about that. And some
Hmm.
of us are really open and
Hmm.
embracing our bodies. But it's all about healthy, shame-free pleasure, and providing this festival provides education, like what Chanel is talking about. That's the kind of thing, the way you're talking, in my estimation, really, that's what brings an open mind and open body. And we're not saying, when I say open body, oh, let's go have sex with whoever. It's connecting the sexual chakra with the heart chakra
It
and
really is. Yeah.
the throat chakra and the
The crown.
that one.
Yeah. And it's drawing energy from the earth when you draw energy from the earth below you, but
Mm,
realizing that your physical body is earth energy. It's the physical energy of the earth. And
mm,
so when we draw from the outer, it's drawing from the outer world and from the earth that grounds us and drawing it up into our body, and also then drawing spirit from above us through our crown. So there's in one of the tantra technique meditations is you're drawing the light from the crown, and
yeah.
you're drawing the earth, the deep red earth energy, and you draw them together, and one is coming from above, the other is coming from below, and we meet in our heart center.
Yes.
We
Oh,
meet in our heart.
that's the
Hmm.
vibration. The intention we're all wanting to bring to this festival is that,
Hmm.
bringing from the earth, bringing from your higher self, all towards respect and honor for our sacred
Hmm.
bodies.
Hmm. Hmm. No, I'm really excited to be here and um, yeah, and give a talk for the festival, talk a little bit more about what sacred sexuality is from my point of view, as someone who's been working with sacred sexuality for many years. And you asked about Brima. What's Brima?
Oh, that's right.
Well, Brima is basically a physical therapy practice, like a healing practice from Afghanistan, and it was developed in the mountains of Afghanistan. This is, Afghanistan has a beautiful history, and it's very similar to Thai massage, but but it also has a certain element that's very similar to Taoist Qigong as well. So the practices are bringing energy in, but also finding a level of comfort in your body. So, I mean, in these times of isolation, self practices, there's practices of moving energy around the body and being comfortable with touching the body and waking up the chi energy in your kidneys. Um, so hopefully we'll have some people maybe in the festival that are going to teach us and show us some of these techniques. That would be super cool. One of the most important lessons that I learned from Brima that I've used through my whole years of practice is, because I'm working with sexuality and I'm working with men particularly, and working to transform in a way the way that sex work is done in our society, right? Sex work has so many different facets, and we know we hear so much in the news about what is really survival sex work, or
Hmm.
sex work where abuse is actually a part of it. And so for me, I've always attempted to pull away from that and to learn how to uh, shift people's uh, pattern behavior to go
Mm,
that way, to do
yeah.
something. And to me, that all comes in with consent.
Mm,
I think that if you have consent ahead of time, then you don't have to worry about breaking somebody's boundary.
exactly. Yeah, we've had
So,
people talk. Thank you so much for sharing that. That
mhm.
made me think about um, the wheel of consent, and somebody was asking, "Is this festival going to have nudity?" And I'm like, well, no, because that would require everybody viewing to get consent from everyone, and
Yeah,
it's
for
it's
sure.
it's being respectful, and I've
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And so Brima, one of the first tenets of Brima is body comfortable. You as the practitioner, is your body comfortable. When
mm,
you are working on somebody else's body, if you are in an uncomfortable position, that's going to translate through your body, and it's going to end up in the client's body.
Ah,
So, I mean, and to me, this also works very well with consent. So, this is one of the main things I've always worked on when I'm working with clients. Am I comfortable?
hmm,
And in any connection practice that I teach a client to, it's always connecting to yourself first.
right.
If you feel there's some kind of disconnection, then let's explore a creative way to find the connection with yourself. And then when you connect with yourself, you can more easily and more genuinely connect with another person.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Chenoa. I could,
We can
I'm
go
sure.
on and on. Yeah.
Yes. And I know I need to give our
Yes.
other beautiful guests some time. So,
So
and
thank you
perhaps you can
for,
come back later. Let's see how this
yeah.
goes. But um, don't go away, Chenoa.
Okay, I'm here.
Again, this is Chenoa Bhakti, and if you this is the kind of talks we'll hear about. These are the workshops. We're going to really explore our body. We're going to get back into respecting and honor our beautiful sacred bodies
Hmm.
and our the beautiful gift that our sexuality is.
Yes, I agree.
It
Beautiful.
brings
I'm excited.
so much brings healing, uh, motivation to I have my own. So many of us have our issues. I think that's probably part of the reason as well why I feel compelled to bring this festival is for my own healing. So
Hmm.
so in that space, I thank you again, Chino, and I'd love to bring up Tamara Blossom. Tamara, welcome, welcome. Well, Tamara Blossom is a sexual empowerment coach. And I met Tamara because she did a live version back in the days pre-COVID at the festival in Winnipeg, Canada, and she did reflexology of the sexual organs, and I was fascinated. It was so amazing, and we all know about the reflexology in the bottom of the foot, in the bottom of the hands, the palms of the hands, but who knew there was reflexology of the sexual organs? So I'm delighted that Tamara is going to be presenting, and she won't have diagrams today and things to show and to explain about. But I just wanted to give you a little taste of what she'll be talking about. So if you're intrigued at all in any way, please check out the website sacredsexualmusicfestival.com and tickets they're going up in price in when is it? I think another week and a half, I believe. So you want to get tickets now. They're at a great price with so much. It's Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and all these amazing speakers bringing a new way of looking at our sexuality. Let's shift the paradigm together. Tamara, would you like to tell me a little bit? What would you like people to know about you?
Well, Wendy, I want to piggyback on what you're talking about and this Sacred Sexual Music Festival. I believe that we as a society and our Western culture and in many places around the world have been conditioned to be ashamed of our sexuality. And we just had Shenoa talking about all the trauma that, people have experienced. And I believe it's because of our cutoffness, our repression, suppression, not allowing the sexual energy flow into our body. And she was also talking about the connection with the sex and heart, and I'm all about that. So, like, when we suppress or repress anything, it will blow up or it will come out in ways that we do not intend to, because the thing is, sexual energy is the most powerful energy in our body, and if we do not consciously utilize it, it will unconsciously use us. And that's the piece that it's like we just need more and more and more of this proper healing education around our sex, because our sex is innocent, our sex is a part of us. Every single person is born naked, and we come from a womb, we come from people making love. Like, sex is just a part of life, and we forget that, and then we go through life feeling like we got to stifle it, we can't show that, we can't express that, we can't do that, we can't, oh, that's no good, and then we just get all these like layers, and whoa, it's really
Yeah.
hard to drop it. And so that's what I want to say. Yes, get your tickets to Sacred Sexual Music Festival, and, continue your learning journey, because I've been on this journey for, okay, when did I really get, like, I've been on a healing journey for about 14 years, and on my sexual healing journey, right? That's a little bit more specific, because you can be into healing and, like, maybe healing your body through yoga or meditation, but sexual healing is a different little space. And I've been on that journey for about 5 years, and I'm still learning more things, and so I just want to say, like, it's really important to continue our journey, because we want to transform this world. And I loved what Chinoa said about let's prevent the need for healing. I was like, yeah, like, let's get everybody in that place where we see that sex is about love and about innocence and about joy, and it is just our natural state of being.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
That makes me think of this quote that I have on the website. It says, "Sexuality is so often underground, ignored, or unconsciously acted out.
Yes,
And the
exactly.
exploration of this territory consciously and respectfully is liberating and powerful."
Oh, totally.
So,
Totally,
so
right? Like,
Tamara,
well,
go ahead.
we've had so many stories we hear about, sexual rape, sexual assault, the whole thing of, like, the back in the day, those stories about the priests with the little boys. There's human sex trafficking, child trafficking happening right now all over the world, and it is a big business. They're making billions of dollars on this, and you know what? It's all because we are cut off in the first place, right? So, like,
Yes.
I'm so passionate about this topic because, like, for me, the way it played out for me in my body is I was on my healing journey. And so many of you might relate with this. You realize that something feels like it's missing. Something feels like, man, I feel like I'm not living the depth of my being. I'm just kind of like, dun, 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 kind of on, like, autopilot, following the thing that I think I need to do. And then it was like, there was this, like, awakening for me, and that was when I was 22 years old, and I started to learn. My first thing was introduction to actually foot reflexology. That's really funny. I didn't connect the two until now. Foot reflexology was the very first thing that I ever did that was outside the norm of, like, regular school education, right? And what it showed me was, oh, there's ways to look at the body and heal the body that I had no idea about. Like, it was like a ding. And so then after that, I went into, like, shiatsu and, like, body work and energy medicine, working with the chakras, ancestor work, yoga, qigong, and then I got into the Taoism and the Tantra after, in my 20s. And then I just started to get into the sexual part of Tantra when, boom, I got pregnant. And so there I was, pregnant, totally, like, still not connected to my sexual self, truly. And then it really came out in my birth with my first daughter. And I felt so afraid of the power that was going through my body, and not just afraid of my own power, but number two, I couldn't speak up. And the voice, actually the vocal cords are very connected to our sexual organs. Like, in a woman's body, and I work with women only, the little muscles, they look really close to the muscles down in the cervix and the yoni. It's beautiful, right? And so my voice was shut down, and I couldn't say what I needed to say, which was like, get the fuck out, everybody, which is, sorry for my part of my language, but that's what I needed to say when I was in my birth experience, and I didn't say it. And guess what ended up happening? I got cut. I got a cesarean because I didn't speak up for myself, which is, I knew what I needed was, I knew I needed to be alone from all these people. But I felt my pleaser was like, oh no, like, everybody thought they were going to be here. And I had this, like, big team. Everybody wanted to be at my birth. And so then
You
in
didn't
reflection,
listen. And so you weren't listening to what you were really needing.
that's right.
And
And
that's
so,
so important around listening to our bodies.
exactly, listening to her body. And then that showed me also, like, I was not just not listening to my body, but like there was definitely, like, a cutoffness around my sexuality, like, around, like, going down into my vagina, which is where my baby was going to come out of. There was just this cutoffness. Like, I was like, ugh.
So
And
you
so
explored
then I was
reflexology?
feeling. So I didn't do any of that work yet. And then it was after that that brought me into, so this is the interesting thing, and a lot of women don't talk about this, dealing with, issues after having a baby. Some women feel like, well, I'm not going to go into what women feel, but for me, what happened was after the cesarean, because of all the fear, I believe, the tension, my vagina muscles, because there are muscles inside of there, were super tight. I couldn't have sex. Like, it was like not happening. It was way painful. And I was like literally at the place of giving up. And that's my story of how I got to the piece about the learning deeper about the sexual reflexology, and then going into yoni de-armoring, which is, massaging my own vagina so that it empowers me. Like, I could definitely go to a tantric massage coach, and I highly recommend that as well. But it's different to do it to ourselves, and we really get to learn like the topography of our inner landscape, and it's just so empowering and so good. And I've healed so many layers of trauma by my own de-armoring. And knowing the sexual reflexology zones just helped me kind of create a map in my head. And then I also bring in the Taoist 16 sounds as I move through them. And so that's something I teach also in my course. So
beautiful. So that I so look forward to hearing. So you'll be giving practical tips about the reflexology with your diagrams and showing exactly what people can do for their self-love.
Yes.
Really, getting in touch with your body, they're our beautiful.
I really believe that everyone should do this.
Yes, I get that. I feel that beautifully. Yeah, well, yet another reason, folks. Another reason to join in the Sacred Sexual Music Festival. By stepping into a higher vibration with a healing and joy-filled musical backdrop, the Sacred Sexual Music Festival not only informs that sexuality is to be respected, honored, and our birthright, it normalizes this concept and invites conversation that inspires us to create positive change in our communities. So, folks, the more we talk about it, the more we make it normal and with love and care, and use it as a way that we honor ourselves. Connecting the heart and the first chakra, second chakra, and with our fourth chakra, the heart chakra. That's what the Sacred Sexual Music Festival is all about. So we hope you join us. Check it out. Tickets are at sacredsexualmusicfestival.com. And Chinoa, will you come back and join us? Are you still there?
I'm still here. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if there's anything. Let's go do a round and just sharing something why should people come? Why should people come to this festival?
I think sometimes healing also comes just through listening, like just through what you said, Wendy, just now. I just started to tear up because there isn't a lot of platforms for us to just talk about our sexuality, our sexual history, to be completely open about our wounds and our healing and our humanity in this way. As we listen, we give ourselves, we know that there are other people like us in the world.
Yes.
And, it makes a huge difference. We're not alone. And, unfortunately, we can't gather in person right now, but we're not alone. And that's so important. And to spend like $100 or whatever the cost, I'm not even sure what the cost is. Maybe
89.
You can share
it's
that.
Going up.
89 US or Canadian?
It's US. My partners are American, so we do.
Yeah, for sure. So, to have this experience of just being in the company of others, and I think through this, you're not going to be, to me, I don't think you're going to be alone after this festival. Like, all the people that are speakers will be open to communicating with anyone who's listening, anyone who joins in. When we start talking about sexuality, we come alive. Like, I could talk for hours, and Tamara could talk for hours. Like, we come totally alive because finally we can talk about, ourselves, our real life experience. Like, I had like what she said, she had a birth experience that didn't really suit who she was and what she really wanted. And that's wounding. And to be able to talk about that, I have sexual abuse history, and, to be able to talk about it freely and openly and find the healing that we need, it's a treasure.
Yeah.
And even just listening to other people's stories can bring up the well of healing inside of us, inspire us to go seek out those individuals that can help us, inspire us to go work in some creative project, or inspire us to just go have a self-pleasuring experience that just blows our own mind,
Yay.
like we have this energy inside of us that will give us life, and so something like this to help people get through their blocks, to even if you don't have any blocks, to open up more, because we're divine beings and we just keep going. We're not going to stop. We're going to continue unfolding.
Thank you, Chenoa. And just to let all the listeners know and viewers that your names, first of all, you can go on the website and find all the presenters and the way to contact them. Plus, while they're speaking, they'll have their information below them so that you can contact them. If you really resonate with them, please contact them. Because if you resonate with them, there's a reason for that. And they might be the perfect person for your next step in your journey and the next step in your healing. So thank you for that, Chenoa. And and Tamara, would you have anything? What are you telling your friends? Why should they attend the Sacred Sexual Music Festival?
I feel like it's very similar to what Chenoa said. To remember we're not alone in this discovery process and this healing process. And to be inspired as well, right? And when we're putting our attention there, we're inspired, we're thinking about it, we're like, oh yeah, maybe I should do this too. And just that, because our sexual energy is our eros, and what is eros? Eros is our creative life force energy, that when we are not tapping into that, we're literally taking away from our ability to live life to the fullest and our ability to create and like sort of birth, whatever it is that we want to create in this world. So the more we can tap into and clear those blocks, and what that really means is loving and accepting and allowing the energy to flow and letting go of those traumas and blocks in the body that are like, on some level, like sticking and stagnating the energy around in our rivers, so it's like energy channels. So when we clear those and then the energy moves, you're just going to be more alive, more vivacious, more vibrant, more magnetic, more like just excited and enthusiastic. And you'll also move easier in your body. You'll have less body pain because this energy is literally flowing through and healing you. So
it's all about healing, isn't it?
Sexual Music Festival. Woo!
Hey, it's all about healing. And that's the whole intent. It's just awareness and healing and opening. And who knows where that will lead you? Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I thank you again, you beautiful women. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing what you'll be speaking about at the Sacred Sexual Music Festival. Tickets are at the sacredsexualmusicfestival.com. And it's happening April 16th, 17th, 18th, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday.
Woohoo.
We're so looking forward to, as a final, just remind people that the festival is a respectful, safe, nurturing space that offers learning and connecting opportunities, all while being beautifully supported by nourishing music. We hope to see you. See you April 16th, 17th, 18th at the Sacred Sexual Music Festival.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy.
Mm.
So much love.
Love to you.